What to another NFL rundown brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. I'm joined today by Tyler and Title. We'll start with you, Title. How was your weekend?
It was good. It was another profitable one, so I'm definitely not going to complain about that. The night game, on the other hand, I gave some money back there, so that was unfortunate. But other than that, it was a good Sunday in the green, profitable. Packers had a bye week, so even though, I'm a Packer fan deep down, I care about them, but I cheer for my money in DFS way ahead of that. But they had a bye week. Tonight's game, though, I'm very excited for that. I know we talked about it 2 weeks ago, all three of us, how these two should be a lot of fun playing each other. Josh Allen, the Bills, taking on the Patriots. They play each other, 2 weeks from now, too? I think they have two matchups really close. So very excited for tonight's game. Excited to dive in and talk about yesterday as well.
All right, yeah, and I think that you're right. Tonight's game is going to be so good, so we're going to breeze through tonight. And in that WTA, we always have a joke. It goes, know your Wongs, right? Because there's so many young players, young women named Wong out of China. You can get them confused. It seems like know your Williams is going to be a new motto here for Title. Tyler, did you want to talk about yesterday? And, hey, we can answer Jonathan Nelson, who says Vikings disgrace to the league. Well, I don't know that. Look at the shirt that I'm wearing. Zimmer should be fired. I think he probably will be. Tyler, we'll get into that. So just in general, how was your weekend?
It was a good weekend. We got back on track on the spreadsheet. We went 3-1. The only play we lost was the Kelsey anytime touchdown in the night game. We had Tyrod Taylor throw an interception. He throws one on the first play of the game. Those were always nice.
Yeah.
We had Brady to throw the 3 touchdowns that we talked about on the Friday show. He had 3 by halftime. And then Jefferson over 84.5 yards. He went 100 yards over that. So great day there. And then for the guys in the Discord, we hit the first touchdown, Mahomes, in that night game, 22-1. So Sunday.
I saw that. And our guy Drexley, he's not in our chat. We gotta talk to Drex. Hey man, you gotta watch some of our shows. But he parlayed everything that you guys said. And what did he hit? It was like over
25 to pick up like $1,100.
Yeah. So great job that you guys did there. And I'll tell you what, it wasn't the best day because as our guy Gregory Bodie says, Vikings killed everyone's teaser. I went pretty light yesterday. I didn't have my best day betting, but I had a great time watching those games yesterday afternoon. The night game was kind of a dud, but it was really some exciting NFL football. So let's dive right in. The first game we had there, the Cardinals beat the Bears. I got that one wrong. I had the under. Pretty disappointed there. As when they had that huge first half, I knew I was dead. The final score was 33-22. Wasn't really that close. Vikings were in control the whole time. I know Kyler Murray's missed 3 games, but people are talking about him as an MVP. What do you think, Title?
There's no way he can be an MVP after he missed so many games. And there's Brady who's playing every game, Rodgers playing every game, stuff like that. So I don't see that happening. But hey, he came back. He only had to drop back 15 times, 11-15, 123, 2 touchdowns, 10 for 59 on the ground and 2 touchdowns. They got the job done. It's weird when your leading receiver is your running back, 2 for 36, DeAndre Hopkins, 2 for 32, but the Bears aren't very good. We know that. They did what they had to do to win football games. Defense played really well. They got a good defense. But no, I don't think Kyler can win MVP.
What do you think, Tyler?
We're not even 4 minutes into the show, and we taled about Brady before the show and how we backed him.
You're
trying to get my blood pressure worked up with Kyler
because
Murray.
it's gonna be a tilted day, dude. I'm gonna send this one to FS1. This is gonna be our demo. We're gonna be up here with Skip and everything because we're gonna have a bunch of hot takes. I'm trying to get you going. So let everyone know why Kyler can't be the MVP.
Just like Title said, he missed 3 games. They can have the best record, but missing 3 games is just not going to happen. If anyone wins it outside of Brady, I think it's going to be either Rodgers or Mahomes. Because I could see them shoving Mahomes back into the MVP race if they keep winning games. But this Cardinals-Bears game, Cardinals played great. Their defense played exceptionally great. 4 interceptions. They sacked them 3 times. So, the Bears stink. Cardinals are still rolling. That's pretty much it from this game.
Yeah, and the Bears, it'll be interesting to see how they overhaul. I think they need everything. New GM, malpractice, of course. When he traded up for Trubisky. Coach seems out of his depth. Maybe he'll go back and be a good offensive coordinator, Maybe that's where he should be. But the whole team needs a rehaul, and I feel bad for the good fans in Chicago because I know how well they support their team. The Colts and Texans were pretty boring. What was the final score? Like 31-0. And that's great because we had them, right, Tyler? So that was an easy win.
Yeah, we had them minus the 8.
Yeah. So, but I don't know. I really didn't have much on this game. It went exactly as I expected. I guess I could throw out the same lame Jonathan Taylor MVP question. Title, what were your thoughts on the Colts steamrolling the Texans?
Yeah, the only thing I was going to say is, yep, Jonathan Taylor stays being a stud.
Yeah. Yeah, much to JJ's chagrin, although I think at this point the statute of limitations is passed for us making fun of him on that take. Tyler, did you have any thoughts on that game, or you already just move on to some of the better ones?
No, I mean, just like you said, it pretty much went exactly how we thought it would. Pound the ball on the ground, Jonathan Taylor wins you the game, and the defense just locks down this bad Houston offense.
And he was so Oh, go ahead.
I just want to see how long the Colts keep doing this before they go, all right, Carson Wentz, go throw the ball 35 times again, because you know it's coming.
And when they do, it's going to be bad news. So I think they got the right formula right now. Title, he was so expensive that he put up 28 points and didn't even have the fire next to his name on DK.
Yeah, that's that running back was as low as I think I've ever seen it on DraftKings this week. And yeah, you knew Jonathan Taylor was going to get you that. But yeah, 28, that's like when Jokic or Giannis is 12K. Yeah. He gets you 63, 64. He doesn't have the fire, but can't always let that deceive you. You'll take your 28 from 9,200 Taylor any day.
Yeah, especially with the value that was there yesterday, right? You just need those raw points up top and help me building the lineup using the core that I looked at on runpuresports.com about 15 minutes before kickoff. I didn't spend all the time digging in, doing the work. That's what you guys did. I pulled up, I perused the cores, cashed a head-to-head, and cashed in the big one. I mean, not a lot. It was 60 off 20, but still, if you're a busy guy and you still want to have fun with these, make sure you head on to runpuresports.com. Use the cores like I did to create winning lineups. Use the promo code GETBETS to become a member. You'll get access to the bet side as well. The Chargers and the Bengals, what a game. The Chargers are finally back for his title. We've been believers here, but man, I'll tell you what, with this Chargers team, right? There's no lead feels safe, right? I mean, even at 24-0, once the first touchdown, you're like, uh-oh. Then it gets to 24-22. Fortunately, they came back and they responded. But here's my issue for the Chargers. Well, my questions would be, number one, are they back? And number two, are they too reliant on the game script of getting the lead? Because it really seems that's the only way they can stop the run is just get a lead so big that the opponents have to abandon it. What are your thoughts, Tyler?
Yeah, Tyler or Title?
I mean, Title. I'm sorry, Title. Sorry.
Yeah, so I mean, I like the Bengals. I like the Chargers. I have money invested in the Chargers. So it was a win-win situation for me, but also one of the teams had to lose. It was nice to see the Chargers get back on track. I'm still a little nervous, like you said, stopping the run. And when they do get from behind, I can't get that Denver loss out of the back of my head. I got them to win the Super Bowl. That's the aspirations this team should have. I'm still not about to say, yes, they're back. They're in that consideration. I mean, they are in the consideration with the fire power they have, but still, it's a good win. But it's against the Bengals, who you guys aren't as high on them as I am. They put out the defense isn't as good as they showed some weeks. I think it's a good win. Are they back? And I'm as confident as I was 4 or 5 weeks ago that they could really be there at the end of it. I'm still not there yet, though. But good win for the offense. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. Keenan Allen, he had 2 touchdowns. Didn't even play that great.
You see the one where he was just wide open?
Yep.
I mean, it was like, wow.
And you could have caught that.
Even Lamar Jackson could have made that throw.
Yeah, he was wide open. But it was a good win, 41-22 on the road. I still like the Chargers team. I'm still holding hope, but I don't feel the same confidence I did 5 weeks ago when I bet it or whenever it was.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of lost it too because here's my idea. I just don't see how they're going to compete with the elite of the AFC with such a one-dimensional defense. It just seems that there's too many teams that can just line up and run away with it. What do you think, Tyler? Are these guys back, and do they have a chance, or am I correct that their inability to stop the run will be their demise?
I'm on the same page as Title. I'm not going to say they're back, but I'm not going to say that they're not because you just said it. The AFC elite. Who are the AFC elite this year?
I'd say New England, Buffalo, Kansas City.
I mean, but what has any of them shown you outside of New England's defense that's just like, all right, they're head and shoulders better than everyone else? Buffalo's slipped up and lost some games they shouldn't have. Right. Kansas City started off the year rocky. So I'd say they're the 4th team in the AFC right now, and they have enough firepower to where if that offense is going at 100 miles an hour into the playoffs, no team is going to want to play them. Because if they do get that lead, it's going to be tough to come back and beat them. Their pass coverage is better than their run defense. We all know that. So they get that lead, it's going to be very tough to beat them in a playoff game.
Yeah, and I think they match up the best there with Kansas City, right, who has the least ability to run the ball. Well, actually, the Bills don't either. So I guess you're right. I mean, really, New England's the bad matchup.
New England's the only team, and
Yeah.
we're kind of relying on a rookie quarterback that could. He's played very well, but this could go bad very quick.
I'm gonna say at the end of the day, like New England's good and like very tough, but like Herbert against Mac Jones and the weapons,
it's Herbert every time.
And there's Eckler, like the weapon. It's just, yeah. I mean, if New England's the toughest team, which was part of the reason we bet the Chargers, but the AFC is wide open. It really is.
Me and Jay talked about that yesterday. It's like the AFC is as wide open as it's been in a long time. There's no one team that you could just pencil in.
Yeah.
So, hey, I was wrong. Drexler does hang out. Just he lost his YouTube account under that name. So he's there. He says, thanks for the winner. And I'm so glad that you were able to watch the live show and get that winner. And you have been watching. So my apologies. Drexler is with us. He's giving support. And we're glad that you were able to cash. You know, what a great ticket. What a great feeling when you're going to sleep. And then, you know, you wake up and then you kind of remember, oh, hey, I had a pretty good night last night, right? Just it's like a cup of coffee before you even get out of bed. Yeah, Eric Chang's taking a quick weekend trip to SoCal. Yeah, no Vegas apps out there, but there'll be plenty of beautiful women there to go ahead and assuage your sorrows, Eric. For the Bengals, I thought they had a lot of bad breaks yesterday, Title, so I'm not ready to write them off. Like, I kind of came around on this team, and I still think they have a lot of the weaknesses. I think that first of all, not necessarily. That one guy that I was downgrading or talking bad about, the Zoe guy that came from Dallas, he's actually pretty good. Yeah. And then it's like the line still isn't that good. The weapons are just so good. You know, it doesn't matter. And Joe Burrow's really good. I'm not ready to downgrade the Bengals off that loss. Like, a lot of that stuff, right, though, those weird tips and stuff, like, was it T. Higgins that had the one that almost looked
that
like
was Chase. He dropped it.
Chase.
Touchdown.
Yeah.
Really hurt I had him too with the Goddard, Minshew, Jefferson. That stunk.
I mean, he catches that. You might be there with Tambo, right?
No, he was king of the beach. No, I wouldn't have been there, but it would have been. It definitely would have helped. But
I'm not ready to downgrade him. Would you agree, Tyler? We'll start.
Yeah,
with
I
Tyler.
agree. I'd also say just how we just ranked the AFC. Mm-hmm. I'd say Cincy probably 5. They're another team. If their offense gets hot, you're not going to want to touch this team in the playoffs.
And after watching that, if they ran it back, I'm not saying like the Chargers win for sure, right? It didn't seem like this one team is just better and they're just going to be able to do this all day. Like I said, Chargers caught a lot of breaks yesterday. Yep. Would you agree with that, Title?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm more bullish on Cincy. The weapons are just really, really good, and their defense, yeah, I mean, it's not great, but it I mean, 41 against Herbert doesn't look very good. But like you said, I don't think 41-22 was the way. If you watch that game, that wasn't like the true score and how the Bengals did run pretty bad. Like, the game should have been closer. So I agree. AFC's wide open. Like, I would, if the Bengals were in the AFC Championship, I would be surprised if you told me that right now for sure. But hey, at the end of the day, I mean, Chase, Higgins, Boyd, Mixon, Burrow, make a couple stops and turnovers on defense. The AFC is wide open, as we keep saying.
Yeah, and with that extra week, there's an extra chance for injuries.
That's another thing.
Having a young team, I think, helps a lot, right? Because I do think those guys, are less likely to really suffer. Unlike
it only takes one injury before like the playoffs and like the whole. I mean, Mahomes would go down for granted.
Yeah, or even Kelsey or Hill. I mean, they can't lose any of their big three.
I mean, yeah, any of these teams, like there's.
I mean, we've seen their offensive line fall apart last year, and they just lost it in that Super Bowl. So.
Yeah, it wasn't even close. It was over before it started, pretty much.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to the disgrace of the league. Oh, Tyler and I were so pissed, man. I mean, I dialed back the NFL betting a little bit this week. Didn't have a ton of plays I liked, but we really liked this teaser on Tuesday. We put it in, right? We had the Cardinals, easy win. Colts, easy win. Vikings, all we needed was for them to win straight up. And, I mean, as frustrated as I am as a Raiders fan, I mean, this has to be the same way. It's almost like, when you're rooting for the Jets or whatever, you're just like already on to next year. But I think being mediocre stings a little more because you feel like you should win these games and you have a chance to win. And I think mediocre actually is a pretty way to describe both squads. Let's look at the Vikings, man. I don't understand how they lost this game. The defense was just terrible. And when you call for the calls to fire Zimmer or move on, I'm not even saying he could actually go somewhere else to be successful. But it definitely seems he needs to move on. Title, is there any way that both Zimmer or either Zimmer or Cousins are back next season? You got to just move on from everybody, right?
Yeah, I think you move on from everybody for sure. You keep your core. I mean, Thielen went down too, which definitely stinks. I don't think that would have changed the whole outlook of this game, but that is something to note. Zimmer should go. Cousins has to go. Got to find someone to adjust. I mean, Justin Jefferson, yeah, like 11 for 180. Like at least Cousins knows to get the ball to Jefferson, but there's even times he should force feed it to him more. Madison had a good game on the ground too, so it's not like they're stars. I mean, the three guys coming in, Madison, Jefferson, Thielen, were the guys to get the ball to, and they got them, and they still lost a football game. Defense, pathetic. Cousins, yeah, the stat line looks great, 30 for 40 or 30 of 40, 340, 2 touchdowns, but I think that's pretty deceiving too. You can't lose that football game to the Lions. Inexcusable.
Yeah, I was criticizing before we went on. They're basically running a prevent with the game on the line.
Yeah,
Our guy in the chat, Natisfy, says Vikings win the game if they run the ball with Madison at the end on the 2-yard line. Choose clock. Detroit doesn't have time to come back. I mean, yeah, we agree with you. It did make zero sense. Tyler, let's let it loose. Let's just go ahead and trash the Vikings. They've ruined our weekend. Tell me how terrible this team is.
I mean, they're on my blacklist. I'm never betting on them again. I'll tell you that much.
I mean, they're bad.
Kirk Cousins, he was only getting the 1 p.m. window, and now he doesn't even have that for me.
Right.
But, I mean, I trashed this team enough yesterday. I don't have much energy left to trash them much more.
Yeah, it's like that one time when you were telling me on the first night of the NBA season, you said, "Don't tilt, it's the first night." And I said, "I'm old. I run out of energy after that. I get mad and I'm out of energy for 20 minutes."
Yeah, I tilted this game so hard yesterday. I got nothing left for him. I'm just disappointed in him at that point.
The funny thing is the pieces will move on to do well, right? I think Zimmer goes to become just a defensive coordinator. He's an upgrade for over 15 teams in the league, right? Cousins is going to go somewhere and at least do Kirk Cousins things, put up good numbers, and he can take a bad franchise to mediocre, right? But the coaching mistakes, I agree. Why would you not put pressure on Jared Goff? I mean, it's just unbelievable. The guy completely crumbles if the second anyone gets in his backfield. So you're going to drop 8 and just let him drive down the field. I mean, it was just terrible. Just terrible.
Where do you guys think Cousins is going to end up next year if he leaves?
Well, I think he would be traded, right? Because he's under contract. So you got to think who would trade target him?
Seahawks if Russell Wilson leaves?
I was thinking Atlanta.
I mean, it can't. Hopefully, I'd rather.
I was thinking that too, but why would you replace Dusty Ryan with Dusty Cousins?
No, Ryan better be gone.
Cousins is just an Atlanta thing to do. They're just like, yeah, we got to keep.
But don't you think you just start all over and you just draft and?
The thing is, you got to find certain teams that trust some of these quarterbacks coming out.
This isn't a draft. You want to be trying to get a quarterback either.
Yeah, I agree with Eric. I think these are two good spots. New Orleans or Carolina, right? Teams that already have the infrastructure there. The idea being, boy, if we just get a competent quarterback, maybe even Carolina more. Yeah, depending on how Jameis is doing. Yeah, played prevent defense at the 10. I mean, it was just unbelievable. Well, yeah, I mean, they're not going to trade Russell Wilson for Kirk Cousins. Seattle's not that dumb. Yeah, pretty poor draft class. I like the ASU quarterback. Let's see how that turns out. And Richie Smalls reminds me, because, I'm real bad about this. You guys are great on hardwood, right? I mean, you guys extort the chat for likes,
Simon makes sure that we do that for sure.
Yeah. So anyways, just a reminder, guys, please like the video. It helps us a lot. Subscribe to the channel. And, of course, share it with your friends. So that's enough trashing of the Vikings. Do we want to say anything good about the Lions other than cool?
I mean,
congratulations. That's about it.
I think you asked last week's spread, or maybe it was 2. I don't know. What are the Lions going to get a win? I said, I think so. I mean, I didn't expect it now, but they fought pretty much all year. A lot of games. They didn't give up when they were down. They fought till the end. A lot of the games they played some teams tight. So it's good to see them finally get a win.
Yeah, it's like the Texans have won a couple games, but then when they lose by 30 every time, right? I think Detroit's only been blown out twice of those 10 losses, right? So you do have to give them credit for fighting, and it just seems like they have a terrible roster. I want to see this Dan Campbell guy get a better chance, with a real roster there. So I don't know, Tyler, do we want to give the Lions any props, or was this basically just Minnesota? Boy, I mean, talk about a Make-A-Wish Foundation, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's your Christmas present, Detroit. There's your win.
Yeah,
that's about it.
Unbelievable. So as you can see, we are still a little bitter about losing that teaser. Let's talk about the Dolphins as they put it on the Giants. I've said it before. I think it's so tough, right? There's so many quarterbacks that have to go, but there's not that many good quarterbacks to draft. So maybe Danny Jones comes back. I would not want to run it back with that squad. I'd be pretty frustrated if I was a Giants fan. I mean, Title, what do you think the Giants do? I mean, they can't run this back next year, right?
You definitely can't run this back. I mean, yeah, Danny Dimes didn't play. It was Mike Glennon. Miami's got a solid defense, but like Mike Glennon dropping back 44 times, I could have told you how that game was going to go. Saquon Barkley, man, I mean, I think he still's got the talent, obviously. I think he could succeed in a better offense where they're just not one-dimensional and they have no quarterback, wide receivers that they really have to worry about, but they got to do something. I mean, Mike Glennon, definitely throw him out of the equation. Danny Dimes, throw him out of the equation. He's not the answer. The weapons are fine. Like they got Galladay, Shepard when he's healthy, Evan Ingram, still okay. Saquon,
maybe the Giants trade for Cousins.
The Giants got to do something and a lot of something. I don't know
what have a fit behind that offensive line.
Yeah, that would not be good.
Pretty bad, huh?
That would not be good.
Tyler, what do you think the Giants do this offseason?
I mean, I think they probably give it one more year. Maybe they take a swing on one of the quarterbacks in this draft, like a Kenny Pickett or Malik Willis.
You think Pickett would be good?
I don't think he's going to be good.
That fake slide was dirty.
But it's like it's a nice move, but now if that defender blew his head off his shoulders,
yeah,
you can't call targeting.
That rule is going to be changed now. I mean,
yeah, that one play is going to change that rule.
That was dirty though. He used that. That was dirty.
I'll give him that one, but I don't think he's going to be good in the NFL.
I see a lot of Russell Wilson talk in the chat, man. With how desperate a lot of these teams are for quarterbacks, he might get.
Well, we're going to need a quarterback next year too, right? So Pittsburgh not out of the question for these guys.
You definitely need a quarterback.
Hope you.
We need
Tyler,
like
because
2
we're
years
friends.
ago.
I hope you don't get Kirk Cousins.
I don't
get Russ. I would, if I'm you, I would want Russell Wilson.
I would gladly take Russ.
Yeah,
Russ and Tomlin. I would love that combo.
I would take Russ for sure.
We take your guy too up in Green Bay because he wants out.
Yeah, but no, Devontae and him better be a package deal because we'll
take them both. We got the most cap space in the league next year.
Hey, if that's what it takes, I would still watch that. I just want them to stay because they're not going to stay here.
Tyler, your guy on the other side of the ball, Tua. Have you seen his numbers the last 4 weeks?
I'm glad you got to it before I could just pull it up and just start reading.
Read the numbers off. I didn't pull them up. I was actually running late this morning. So
I mean, he was the highest rated quarterback this week, coming into tonight, and there's 40-mile-an-hour winds tonight. So good luck getting a good quarterback rating tonight out of them two guys.
Yeah,
let me pull these up. Last 4 games, he's the only quarterback with a passer rating of 100 plus 4 straight games. The next closest this year only has 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
His completion percentage over the last 3 weeks, 82%, 88%, 86%. They've won 6 games in a row, spread. They were 1-7.
Yeah.
This team might sneak into the playoffs.
You know, it's funny. The 2 teams that we loved preseason that we were pissed about on this show, like the first 5 weeks, have turned it around. And that's the football team and the Dolphins, right? Because both are on winning streaks. And the Dolphins, what we've seen during this streak is what we called during our previews, right?
Yeah, I mean, this was the team I thought we were going to get. It just took half the season for them finally to show up, and it's going to be tough for them to get into the playoffs. But judging by these last couple games, I think they got a good chance. They come home to play the Jets next week. Then they go to the Saints. Then they go to Tennessee. And then they finish the year at home playing New England. I'd say New England's the only game they're probably going to lose.
I mean, if they pop a 3-1 there, would they make the playoffs?
I'm pretty sure they would. I'm pretty sure they'd still one of them wild card spots.
Yeah, a title. I think the 2 is solidified at least getting another year. Would you agree with me? And what are your thoughts on the Dolphins?
Yeah, no, I think you are right. The defense he has a good defense, which definitely helps them. Got Devontae Parker back too, which is another boost. Jalen Waddle's playing really good football. Mm-hmm. I'm still not really a Tua believer. Do you know the stat? Because I don't know it. Like his average depth or yards per, you know what I'm trying to say? Depth per
average depth per target.
I can give
it low.
Give me like 5 minutes. I'll pull it up.
All right, cool.
If you're pulling that up, then I won't.
Yeah, depth. I was trying to, but yeah, I mean, like he's doing his job. He's doing that. I don't think he's a future good quarterback that's going to lead their team to multiple playoffs in the future. I'm still not on that boat, but he's doing enough right now to win games with a good defense. He's not making mistakes. They're moving the sticks. They also don't have the best running game either. Like Myles Gaskin as your number
probably
one.
one of the weakest, right? Running backs in the league.
So, like, yeah, I mean, like, if they had a better running back and they could.
And this is a great year for running backs.
Yeah, develop play action.
Great year. For as bad as it is quarterbacks, it's awesome for running backs.
But the problem is, like, if you draft one in the first round right now,
you'll be able to get one in the second.
Yeah, a second, third. Yeah, I mean, you always can get running backs now. I haven't looked at this upcoming draft class too much, but yeah, I mean, Tua is doing his job. I think he's definitely going to be back the next year, but I'm still not on the Tua train in the future as a Super Bowl contender and stuff like that.
Eric Chang's talking about Waddle, right? If Jamar Chase wasn't doing what he was doing, don't you think we would be giving Waddle a lot more attention?
The past couple of weeks, he didn't start off the hottest, but the past couple of weeks, he's definitely Tua's guy, and he's explosive. So, yeah, I mean, DFS too. He's been very good in DFS the past couple of weeks. Very good receiver.
All right, Title. Let's move on to the next game, and what a stack you created. Gardner Minshew, Dallas Goedert, right, as the Eagles. How good did they look? And boy, is there a quarterback controversy going to be brewing in Philadelphia?
Yeah, I mean, I on FanDuel, this was my stack in the tournament. On DraftKings, because FanDuel, he was less than 10%. Goddard, no one played him. Actually, Kittle, the guy that was kind of more popular, he got there. But DraftKings, I didn't have it. Yeah, Gardner Minshew, I mean, there's got to be I'm still on the Jalen Hurts train, so I don't think there will be, and I don't know. But, like, Gardner Minshew, he's been there. He's done that in the past. People know he's it's solid quarterback, not good. He's solid. He can get the job done. 20 for 25, 242, 2 touchdowns. However, we have to slow down a little bit. It is the Jets after all.
Way to ruin a great story, Title.
I know. I mean, hey, like, the thing is, like, he can run an NFL team, I think. A mediocre one at best, though. I think it's Hurts. I think you have a lot more potential and ceiling with Hurts, but yeah, I mean, would you blame the Eagles if it starts getting into a quarterback competition kind of, they roll out Minshew again? I wouldn't blame them, no, but I still think it should be Hurts. It is the Jets after all, but curious what you guys say, because I think it's definitely not only you asking this question, Spread.
Yeah, I mean, Tito's watching Disney movies and saying, well, Prince Charming is kind of desperate, right? I mean, come on. Ruining a great Cinderella story there, Tito. Tyler, what were your thoughts on Gardner Minshew? And if you're an Eagles fan, who would you rather have starting for your team?
Well, we all know how Eagles fans are. Sorry to any of them in the chat, but they just crowned Gardner Minshew as like their next guy to win them a Super Bowl. Like, they're ready.
To be fair, they won with a backup before.
Ben Franklin Bridge. Like, they're done with him. I guarantee it. He threw 2 touchdowns in that game. He threw for 250, and they still managed to run for $130 on the ground. Yeah. I mean, we all know Hurts should be the guy, but let him go back in their next game and stink it up for a quarter and a half. They're going to be screaming for Minshew to be back on that field.
One thing that we talked about, though, with the market being the way it is, if they get rid of one, when they make a choice, they could probably get a pretty good return for whoever, maybe even a first or second. I mean, I might even, if you want to go with Hurts, I might even play Minshew just to try and get his value up on the end of the season, right? So on the other side, the Jets, I mean, I didn't write down anything about the Jets. Is there anything to say about the Jets?
No, I mean, I got really much their offense looked pretty good in the first couple of drives. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
Our under we talked about was dead on arrival. We said under 45, and the first 8 possessions of the game were touchdowns.
Yeah, for Tyler, for a bunch of games going under yesterday, we did not pick the right ones, but that happens in this business. The Buccaneers and the Falcons was another one I really didn't have much on. It was pretty much exactly what we expected. So, Title, I guess my question would be is like, where do you see the Buccaneers now in the NFC hierarchy? Are they first? Are they second? Are they third? Like, where do you have them as far as your most favorite teams in the NFC to win the Super Bowl?
I'm still saying Packers won because I'm hoping that it comes through Lambeau. I mean, the thing, Cardinals, if they win out, they get it. The Packers have the advantage over them because they beat them if they get it. Whoever gets home field is, I would say, is the favorite. These teams are so close up there. I mean, you saw the Buccaneers last week against the Colts. They went to the run-first attack and absolutely dominated the Colts on the ground, and Fournette went off. This week, they went to the passing first, and then they came out and threw like 9 straight passes on the opening drive or something. Brady dropped back 51 times. Fournette carried the ball only 13 times. Like, they can do it in so many different ways. Rob Gronkowski's healthy. Godwin, Mike Evans. It's a very good football team. Anyone that says 1 wouldn't argue at all. 2, 3, they're definitely top 3. I think they're 2 personally, but man, it's really, really close.
Tyler, give me your top 3 in the NFC that you'd expect, in the order that you'd expect to win the Super Bowl.
I got them 1 because I think we said last year everyone said it, just like Title just said. Everyone's got to go up to Lambeau. No team really should be able to win up there. And I was like, well, there's one guy in the NFC where weather's not going to be a problem because he played it in his whole career, and he went up there. Yes, they should have won the game, but they blew it.
Kevin King, LaFleur. I mean, that was a good. If you run that back, that would have been. It was a really good game.
Yeah, it was. I still got to have them 1 though, because they could do it either way. They could beat you on the ground. They could beat you through the air. Their defense is just getting healthier as the weeks go by. As they get their guys back, their team's just going to lock down on defense. I'd say Green Bay's 2, and 3 is probably the Cardinals, because I can't put the Rams anywhere near the top right now.
Yeah, if only you got to play the Jaguars in the first round of the playoffs. And about the Packers and that going to Lambeau thing, if Aaron Rodgers was as disingenuous and unlikable as LeBron James, the media would probably have a field day with the fact that he's 1-5 in NFC Championship games over his career. But he's not, so we don't really talk about that.
The Niners have got us good. Hey, the thing about the Packers, though, is I think this is the best defense Rodgers has ever had, including when they won the Super Bowl.
Oh, for Charles. Sure. I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a piece that it definitely made a lot of strides. So that piece that hasn't been talked about as much. But you're right. Rodgers has not fared well in NFC championships.
Yeah, and we talked about the Rams. Would you have them number 4? I mean, there's not really much to talk about that game, right? They stomped the Jaguars. They're front runners. They usually do good against crappy teams, and they struggle kind of against the better teams. So they did their job, right? I mean, Minnesota didn't do their job, so give them credit for that.
Actually, I take back who's my number 3.
Who?
It ain't the Cardinals. It's Dallas.
Who? Interesting.
I would personally still have Cardinals, but I mean,
who do you think? So yeah, I think I would too. Who do you think has a better defense, the Cardinals or the Cowboys?
I'd say Dallas.
Okay, and I would say Cardinals. That's
I'd say it's close. I'd say it's close, but I think Dallas has the better weapons on the defensive side. Mm-hmm. Isaiah Simmons is a stud on the Cardinals defense, but they get gashed in the run. Like they play a team like Dallas in the playoffs that could just run Pollard at you, run Zeke. Like they could be in some trouble.
Title, who do you think has a better defense?
I lean the Cardinals a little bit. The J.J. Watt thing, definitely. I mean, that would have been a lock for the Cardinals with J.J.
Because that's where the run defense really suffered. He's not the same guy.
Yeah.
So, anyways, not much to say about the Jaguars. Too bad. I still think Trevor Lawrence is going to be really good, man. He just that franchise is terrible, man. I mean, I want them to be good. I like AEW. I like the cons, but Urban Meyer hire, does Urban Meyer make it past? It sounds like he's going to come back. Wouldn't that just be terrible?
He shouldn't at all.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to bring him back. I think it's going to be one of the things where they part ways after the year.
I sure hope so, man. Because I want to see Trevor Lawrence get a chance with a real team and a real organization. Let's talk about my team. Talk about mediocre disappointments, right? Up there with the Vikings. At least we lost to a formidable team, though. The Washington football team. I mean, I didn't write down a question. I just wrote that Ron Rivera's a great coach. Talk to me about the football team title and how do you see them going for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I mean, what a good story with Heineke, though. He has the respect to the locker room. He's winning football games. I like Taylor Heineke. Antonio Gibson, which J.D. McKissick out, handled pretty much all of the workload. Antonio Gibson's a stud. It sucks for Logan Thomas, though. He just can't stay healthy. I think I saw a torn ACL or something. He's going to be out for the year. That really big hit for their team. I mean, I don't think this Washington team, I know they're in the wild card position right now. I don't think they're a threat really in the playoffs. Chase Young also out. They're depleted with injuries. But talk about a team that's mediocre and talent-wise and roster-wise, that's very well coached and has a quarterback and a team that just fights for wins. You got to respect it. I like what I'm seeing for Washington, but talking about playoff aspirations and winning a game or two, I just don't see that happening. But
it's funny about Chase Young. We talked about it last week, and like I said, because I think most of us watch Red Zone all Sunday, right? So we see all the highlights, right? But we don't see the plays where Chase Young is not in his gap on the run defense. And I think that while, you are losing a great pass rusher, you're getting more consistency, especially in stopping the run. And I think that's really been important
Makes
to
sense.
the team. Not to mention the secondary's played better. Because at the beginning of the year, the pass rush was getting home. And then it didn't matter just because people were wide open, right? So anyways, football team, what are your thoughts, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, they've looked good the past couple of weeks. They fought back into the playoffs, which is a bright thing to see. The Heineke story is great, like Title said. And I know you're talking about Chase Young not being in his run gaps as much. He was always more of like a pass rusher, even when he was at Ohio State. That's what
but I'm wondering,
guys like Deron Payne, Montez Sweat, and these linebackers for to stop the run. So, I mean, I know he's messed up in the run game, but technically he's more like the pass rusher on that line.
I'm just saying, like, the defense has played better since he's gone.
Yeah. But it's also one of them things, like, I guess you could say, like, they played better in his absence, but could this still be happening with him on the field? I say yes.
Yeah, it could because
they finally got back to running the ball more. Like, Gibson touched the ball 23 times in this game.
Which is how it should be.
Yeah.
More than that, actually. 28 if you count in catches, but yeah.
Yeah, he should touch the ball 20-plus times every game. This should be like the Jonathan Taylor idea with the Colts. Just get him the ball. Don't let Heineke do anything stupid. But now it's going to be hard because he doesn't have his safety blanket in Logan Thomas, so he's going to have to air it out to McLaren.
Yeah, that'll be interesting how it turns out. But, if you play with Logan Thomas, you don't build that many reps with him, right? I mean, that guy gets injured about as often as you hit a prop, Tyler. So it seems like every week, right? So let me go on a rant real quick. The Las Vegas Raiders, what a terrible organization overall. So disappointing. And you know what was really bugging me yesterday? We're the second team. You got to be so happy if you're the Denver Broncos or the Kansas City Chiefs, right? Because the two other teams in your division gave up their home field advantage just to have more money, right? Because the Chargers go to Los Angeles. Nobody cares about the Chargers in Los Angeles, so their stadium gets overrun. It's not that the Raiders don't have a huge fan base, but expecting the fans to go from Oakland or the Bay Area and Las Vegas every weekend when, we're competing with the people who only are trying to go to one game, right? Right. So, Title, you're like a Packers fan, right? Let's say you're like, I want to go to a road game this year, right? And I think you would choose like Dallas or Las Vegas, right? And probably Vegas would be number one, right?
Vegas would be
your destinations to go watch a game. So it's like, yeah, cool. You got all this money. The stadium looks great, but every week it's packed 40% with the other fans. The coaching is absolutely terrible. And now, to be fair, that wasn't the coach they expected. But, Greg Olson calling plays is no good. And I think that, like Kirk Cousins, right? He's not bad, but I think they need to move on from Derek Carr because our fan base is exhausted. It's just, he's done everything he could. Some of it was circumstantial, but at the same time, like, he tops out maybe as like a 10 to 12 quarterback, right? He's never going to be an elite guy that actually carries your team. Like Russell Wilson carried the Seahawks yesterday, right? We've seen Aaron Rodgers carry the Packers for years, right? He's just never going to be able to do that. So I didn't really have much of a question. I just wanted to trash the Raiders. Title, trash the Raiders with me. Jump in.
I like everything you said. Definitely makes sense. Like the home, especially like the home field. Yeah, the Chargers, the Raiders. Like being a fan of those two teams would definitely stink because home field, like we talk about coming through Lambeau. Like when you go to a game at Lambeau, it's really tough to play at Lambeau Field. There's plenty of other stadiums like that where you just. Even
the
like
Broncos
Soldier Field
and the Chiefs are two of the toughest, right?
The Chiefs, but even bad teams like Soldier Field and the Bears, you don't want to go to Soldier Field. It's a really tough place to play. Unfortunately, they're not very good right now, so you don't hear about that. But like, you just need a home field means a lot for your football team. When you can tough road loss or whatever, you come home, you just feel at home, and it's tough to play. And they don't have that luxury. And I agree. I hear what you're saying with Derek Carr, and I actually do think I agree with you. Because like you need the fans to believe, and you just need to take a shot on someone with a top 5 quarterback upside that can carry you to certain wins. I think Derek Carr is a good quarterback. I think he should be a quarterback.
I think go somewhere else would be good. Like send him to Carolina, he'd do great. Send him to New Orleans. If
we'll take him,
have him in that Drew Brees role. Yeah,
exactly.
Send him to Pittsburgh. He'd win 12, 13 games. My point is, they haven't drafted well for about 15 years, but really the last 5, I mean, they flub out. So unless he's surrounded with those other players, he's not going to do it, right? I mean, he's just not. Russell Wilson's carrying these. He just doesn't have that. That doesn't mean he's a bad quarterback, but I'm
Oh
just
yeah,
saying. I mean, it's just time to reset everything, and it
I hear
starts
you.
with him. Tyler, what do you think?
Yeah, definitely time to reset. Definitely time to get him traded or let him go. You got to retool the coaching staff because it's just kind of patched together from everything that's happened this year.
Yeah.
And then just rebuild the offense, rebuild the defense, and give it about 5 to 10 years.
Oh, Tyler, we didn't talk about this because first of all, they news dumped it. For me, it was 10 a.m. right when they kicked off. Right? Do you see the coach that's on the market? Our guy.
Yeah, that made no
fired by
sense
the
to me. Why they cut Joe Brady?
What was up with that?
I would drive Mike Tomlin out of Pittsburgh to get Joe Brady.
Oh, you can drive him to Las Vegas then.
You could have him.
I'll take him. Give me those aviators in the middle of the Death Star. I will take it. Title, did you see that the Panthers fired Joe Brady? And do you have any reason why? Like what's the deal with that? Like, why is he being blamed?
I saw that. I have absolutely no clue. I saw Tyler's tweet quoting it. Yeah.
Do you guys think he's taking the Oklahoma job? And that was just kind of like, hey, I'm taking that job. And they're like, all right, we're just going to fire you now.
I have zero clue, to be honest.
Because I could see Oklahoma backing up the Brinks truck for him after losing Lincoln Riley. But if I'm the Bengals, I'm kicking my offensive coordinator out and bringing in Joe Brady.
Yeah.
After what he did at LSU with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, similar build offense there in Cincy, it's like, yeah, I'd be getting him in there.
Gregory Bodie says Denver will take Carr, and you'll get to that. That'll be my last rant of the evening there before we move on to the next game. Let's see. The Ravens. All right, cool. I get to talk more crap. The Ravens, they fail in a 2-point conversion against your Pittsburgh Steelers, Tyler. And I've said it before, man. Lamar's good. He's great. I don't know if you can pay this guy $40 million. I mean, that's a 3-yard pass, right? I mean, how does he not make that pass? I just can't trust him there. He was bad all game. They should have won that game by 20 points. You can't beat that Steelers team by more. That's all on the back of Lamar. And it's not that he's not good. And at his current price, he's great. But you're going to double his salary. I'd be really worried. Title, what do you think?
Yeah, you asked that question last time too. I said you got to keep Lamar. Yeah, the money, it might be a little overpay. I'm still on the same boat. I agree with you. I think it is an overpay or overspend, but like he's led them to the playoffs. I think it's been every year. They're still 8-4. They're still going to be in the playoffs. We're talking about all these other quarterbacks and stuff. Like it's bad quarterback drafting class. You always have the threat with his legs. He's made improvements from last year to this year with his arm, which is shown. But yeah, I mean, it's a tough loss. Coming into Pittsburgh, though, it's talk about home field advantage. And I mean, it's tough to play in Pittsburgh at Heinz Field. Like they were in position to win. They should have won. You shouldn't lose to Big Ben if you're Lamar Jackson. I agree. I also agree with that 2-point conversion call too. I think Harbaugh made the right decision. Perfect play call. TJ Watt's in your face, but you still got to put it on Mark Andrews. That's a win right there. Overpay, agree. I still think it should be. I still think it will be and should be Lamar though. And you ride with him for a while, just his freak athleticism, his improvements he's made. But
don't you think it's going to start to go down year by year, right? I mean, he's probably got only 2-3 years left, right?
You think 2-3 years?
I mean,
it's not like he's taking. It's not like he's taking these hits. Kyler's taking sometimes. At least
he's good at just dropping to the ground before they pound him into the ground.
Yeah,
like he gets his legs grabbed and he just kind of falls onto his chest. Like he's like, all right, done here.
Yeah.
I mean, what'd you think, Tyler? If me and you were playing Madden and I call that play up and then the ball flays like that, I'm throwing my controller against the wall.
That's why I don't play Madden because that happens too much,
right? I mean, I'm writing EA like a letter, you know. How does he miss that pass, Tyler?
I mean, because you got a running back playing quarterback.
Yeah,
but
and that's you can't give him $40 million.
The more I watch him play, like I know people compared him to Vic earlier in his career. Vic could throw the ball so much better than him. Like
he could chuck it.
Yeah, Vic had an arm and he was accurate with it. Like Lamar,
he was better.
Lamar could chuck it, but like you don't know where it's going half the time.
The thing is, Vic didn't have Lamar's work ethic. That's the only reason he didn't become as great as he should have been. I'll give Lamar this. He works hard and he's gotten better.
Yeah, he's definitely got the
can't
work
teach
ethic.
accuracy.
Love that.
It's just so rough.
But the more I look at it spread, I know we talked about Baker getting one of those contracts where it's like you get 25.
I'd rather have Lamar than Baker.
He's gonna get one. He's gonna get one of those. He's gonna get like $30 million. you rush for 1,000 yards and throw for 3,000, you get 42 instead. Like there's going to be bonuses built in there.
I will say too, like they were supposed to have J.K. Dobbins, who I think's a really good running back too.
Yeah,
a run first team. Now it's Latavius, Devontae Freeman, Latavius. Like they're making the Lamar drop back more than they should in other defenses. The defense don't have to respect the run as much as if they had J.K. Dobbins. I think Lamar's year does look different personally. So that's also a little part of it. But injuries happen. I mean, you can't just blame a starting running back going down for what's going on. But
I mean, would they lose starter, backup, third string, fourth string?
They had your guy Le'Veon Bell out.
Gus Edwards, Bell. Yeah, I mean, they went Dobbins to then Gus Edwards, and they lost. Like, it's tough playing with guys that were.
Yeah, you're right. They do have Dusty Rhodes wearing polka dots back there, right? I mean, just terrible, just terrible. All right, Tyler, we did some hot takes earlier. Here's one for you from watching the Steelers, right? I mean, we talked about the quarterbacks and the issues they have for the MVP. I mean, I know he missed games, but like TJ Watt to me is like a true MVP candidate. That guy is so good. What were your thoughts on the Steelers win? Like, we'll be somewhat positive. It doesn't have to be just drag Lamar for an hour.
I mean, I'm pretty sure on the Friday show, I said they were going to find a way to win this game, and it took Baltimore shooting themselves in the foot for them to win the game. So I'll take it.
They found a way. Yeah.
But this rubbed me as that spot where this, just like the Detroit game we talked about, rubbed me as the Steelers spot where they just let down. The team comes in, they play them good, and they tie the team who didn't have a win at the time.
Yeah.
This was the spot where the Steelers are playing a division rival at home after getting blown out by another division rival. Baltimore was playing bad football. Ben announces he's retiring after the year. You know, they were all hyped up in the locker room, and they go out and play this Baltimore team tough and sneak out a win.
It must be so nice to just have just an awesome coach that just holds his players accountable, gets the guys going.
I bet he does.
Wears aviator glasses. All right. Well, that was fun. I just thought TJ Watt played so well yesterday. I mean, it was like
he's great
all week, right? I mean, he's up there with like Aaron Donald right now.
Yeah, I'd say
argue
that
he's as good as Aaron
couple
Donald.
Defensive players are like him, Myles Garrett, Aaron Donald.
I'd say Watt and Donald are a step above Garrett, but I know that you rank him a little higher than me. Who's the best defensive player in the NFL, Title?
I think it's still Aaron Donald personally, okay. But the Watts. So I went to the middle school that the Watts went to, and then I moved eventually. So high school was like 10 minutes away from me. You know who the best Watt in high school? I think
probably the fullback, wasn't it?
Was Derek Watt in high school?
Really?
It was just I mean they ran the wing tee, like it was just like Derek Watt was the best in my opinion, the best high school football player out of the three, which is pretty crazy to think. But I mean TJ Watt was never what I thought he would have been a defensive end. Madison definitely changed him, but what a freak he is for sure.
I mean, the books agree with you, Spread. Defensive player of the year odds have TJ Watt as the favorite, plus 200.
The numbers, I would agree with that. I just think like if I had to pick one defensive player on my team, like for a whole year, I still think Aaron Donald's the most dominant, and like takes on the most double teams. He also plays inside more too, which is different.
But I thought TJ got double teamed a lot because Nolan in the chat says the same thing.
He's always coming in behind a guy like Hayward or Tuitt, Spread. Like he's following another bulldozer into that pile. Okay. To where like Aaron Donald is the lead of that pile, and all
right,
he turns guys that are scrubs on the outside into solid linemen because he draws three guys in. And then the quarterback got to move, so they fall right into like a Leonard Floyd's hands, a Von Miller's. Mm-hmm. So like, I'd still say Donald's probably the best guy.
Yeah, and I mean it's if you have any of those guys
under double teams too, though off the edge, like Garrett's constantly getting held, constantly getting doubled or triple teamed, and he still gets to the quarterback.
Yeah, he's a stud.
I'm getting out hot taked on my own hot take show. Micah Parsons is the best defensive player.
Yeah, I mean, the guys like him and Isaiah Simmons are going to be like these new hybrid defensive players that are going to take over the league. That you can move from defensive end, the linebacker, to safety, to chasing around a slower receiver.
I love like the Patrick Queens of the world and stuff. Like the Packers could have one of these middle linebackers that absolutely just makes me sad too. I mean, there's been some of these college dudes are just complete studs that are coming out in the front seven on defense for sure.
And our guy pocket QB Lamar Jackson, right? Yeah, the great pocket QB that missed the 3-yard. I didn't even have money on that game. I don't know why it pissed me off so bad. I'm actually happy the Steelers won, but I'm just watching that and I'm like, how do you miss that throw? Like, you're a professional quarterback. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I mean, they dialed the play up perfectly. So
Oh,
anyway,
great call. And you guys agree that 2-point conversion is probably the way to go, right? Because
yeah,
I
it
think
was.
that,
It was.
yeah.
I was actually listening to the one that Tyler told me about, and they were saying in that situation had a 57% chance of converting that 2-point conversion, and with Lamar, it's probably higher, and probably
Yeah.
only a 53% chance because you're going to the coin flip, and if you had just taken it as the fourth quarter, the Steelers were moving the ball much better, right?
That's
It's
why
just of the last
I
15
I
minutes of the
don't
game.
I don't say it's the wrong decision, but after watching Baltimore go down the field in less than 30 seconds, I'd have kicked that field goal and I would have took my chances on a 50-50 flip of a coin. Because if you get the ball, you're probably going right back down the field.
Yeah,
that's
I
true.
hear.
But don't you think that if you lose the coin flip, Pittsburgh's doing the same?
No. I could have seen Ben stalling a drive out and then you get the ball back and you get your shot. So, I mean, I like the ballsiness of going for it, but I think they could still win the game in overtime very easily.
I'm just on team analytics, and that's why I love Harbaugh and the Ravens because they have their analytics guy, and it definitely was the plus EV from the analytics side. So,
and he mentioned and Pocket QB's in here, and he also mentioned Marlon Humphrey got hurt, and he just felt like he didn't have enough
done
corners
for a season.
Yeah, on the road, it was. But I hear you. It's Big Ben at the end of the day, so I hear
that's
you.
what I mean. Like, would it surprise you if he'd got the ball back and slung a pick six on his first throw?
Definitely not. But I do like they had the momentum. They just took that drive down the field. The analytics, I liked it. But I hear you.
All right. Well, this has been a lot of fun. I didn't think we were going to go as long before we got to the preview. So thank you, everybody in the chat, was sticking with us. And if you just joined, a reminder, this is brought to you by Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. Head on over to runpuresports.com. Use the promo code GETBETS to become a member and get access to all the great information. 49ers, Tyler, what happened to your boys, man? I thought for sure they were going to stomp. That was another one we talked about on Friday. Talk to me about this game because I know that you're high in the 49ers bandwagon. But, boy, I mean, we talked about the Vikings with the bad loss. I would say just as much. This is just as bad a loss with the way Seattle's been playing. What were your thoughts on watching the Niners yesterday?
I mean, their offense looked pretty good without Debo. I mean, Mitchell getting hurt at the end of the game wasn't the right thing.
Right.
Kittle goes for 9 receptions, a buck 81.
Stomped, dude. Did you see that?
Yeah.
That was
Did you
like
see
a
the dude?
elbow
You see
to
the
the
dude
face.
at the beginning of the game on the opening kickoff? Like he died on the first play. They had to bring the ambulance out.
Oh no,
his name's like Trent Cannon.
Yeah, Trent Cannon. I saw that. Is there any update on that?
He's fine. They said he was like stable and everything. Like nothing's like bad. But you look at the score spread. They lost by 7, and there was a fucking punt fake taking 75 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah.
So there's how they won the game right there. Their one ballsy play got them the win. So rusted enough to get them on offense. Travis Homer, I mean, they counted that rush on the special teams as his rushing yard, so he finished with 3 for 80.
Yeah.
So he looks like he had a big game, but outside of that, I mean, a couple deep balls to Lockett and DK. It's still the same Seattle team. They snuck a win out, but I don't take much away from it.
Well, I'll tell you what, as the old guy, the Run Pure Bets team, right, and the old guy in most of my chats, what a joy it was, even though I lost the bet because we were on the Niners, right, to see 70-year-old Pete Carroll outmaneuvering young Kyle Shanahan. Title, what are your thoughts? You're shaking your head.
I don't even know. So I'm down on the Niners all year, this whole time, because I'm like Jimmy G at the end of the day. You only can go so far with Jimmy G. I finally say they're playing good football. They're running into this dusty Seattle team that bet against them last week, how we talked about it on the show. Absolutely looked awful against the Pats, blah, blah, blah. And, of course, Russell Wilson finds a way to get it done. And, yeah, Pete Carroll, that was a good play call. But I don't know. Now I feel like I want to just, I'm kicking myself. Why did I finally jump on this San Fran and think they're playing really good football and blah, 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 when let's Jimmy G.
Let's slow that down because if Debo played this game, they won easily. There's no chance their offense just doesn't roll, especially with the way Kittle played today. Add Debo to that, they win this game easy.
I agree for sure, but it's like definitely agree. Kittle, that was what a game. I mean, DFS, you wanted Kittle at tight end, you needed him to win. But it's still Jimmy G. Like some of his, 2 interceptions, one of those is just like, what are you doing? It's like, can a Jimmy G get to an NFC Championship game? I don't think so. And I mean, this roster, like, isn't that what you're kind of going for? I don't know. I don't know what to think of this. It's still Jimmy G. I know I'm down on him compared to the rest, but I want to see Trey Lance. I know this isn't the year, but I'm excited for the Trey Lance time.
Another
yeah,
rumor,
we talked
another
about
rumor is
people.
your boy's going home, and he's going to make Lance sit on the bench longer.
Well, if he goes, yeah, I mean, that 49ers team would be
great
really
offensive
scary.
line. He's got weapons. He can look at that and be like, I don't have to worry about running for my life beyond the offensive line, warm weather.
If Devontae comes over with them, I mean, those two are going to
find Debo and Kittle. Good.
I keep talking about it.
That.
They're going to find a way. Yeah, that would be that.
He would make George Kittle look like Ozzie Newsome.
Yeah,
for those of you who don't know, Ozzie Newsome is not just the Ravens GM. He was pretty much, in my mind, the greatest tight end of all time. So
I know him from Madden. They're too young to watch him, but I know about Ozzie Newsome.
Because back then, that was when going through the middle, man, that you got destroyed. So he was a tough dude. People were draped all over him, and he's bringing in catches. So that would be awesome. Ken Peacock's in on Jimmy G. Yeah, because I used to work at a spot, and it was like the hottest club in downtown Sacramento, and he pulled the hottest waitress out of there and was dating her for about 6 months.
Yeah,
so,
he's got that going for him.
I was hoping you told that story when I seen that comment.
yeah. I mean, it's a quick story too. All right, let's move on to the primetime game. So we talked about how fun these afternoon games were, right? Because that after the final hour was just fun. The primetime game sucked. I mean, how terrible was that, dude? I don't want to hear any more Teddy two gloves, any Teddy covers. That guy's a backup. Get him out of here. I mean, they held the Chiefs to 22. The defense did their job. The running backs did their job, and it's not like Jared Goff in Detroit where he's got like the worst receivers. You can't blame the receivers. I don't know. I was really disappointed by the Denver Broncos. I'm not even ready to upgrade that. Everyone's like, oh, the Chiefs defense is back. I'm like, no, Teddy Bridgewater just sucks. Title, am I just pissed because I lost my bet?
No, I've been saying all year Teddy Bridgewater sucks. His Broncos, it's just not. That's not the answer. It's fine. This game, it pissed me off too. I had such a good main slate and all this, and I mean, it started with somehow clicking Darrell Williams over Javonte Williams on FanDuel. Oh my gosh. Anyway, this whole game, I mean, I lost plenty of money on it. It was gross. You can talk to Tyler about it, but Teddy two gloves is not the answer at all.
Yeah, get to the Teddy 2 bench. All right. I mean, you can come in for a game or two a year when my starter rolls his ankle, but you got nothing for him. Just terrible. Fangio or Zimmer, they're both going to be great defensive coordinators somewhere, but obviously out of their depths as head coaches. Tyler, did I miss anything?
No, I mean, it was a bad game. In a little bit of Teddy Two Gloves defense, he had the game covered until the worst safety in football housed a pick six on him.
But that was his terrible throw.
Yeah, he kind of forced it too. He was trying to get the game closer. He shouldn't have forced that throw, but yeah, bad mistake by him. I think the weather was more into effect in this game than a lot of people were factoring in. Like people thought the offense was just going to roll in. You looked at the weather, there were 20 to 30 mile an hour winds. I mean, we talk about Teddy Bridgewater looking bad. He threw for 260. Mahomes threw for $184 and an interception. So he looked even worse. Neither offense got going. I mean, the only bright spot of this game was getting the first touchdown from Mahomes in the Discord. So that's about it from this game for me.
Yeah. The Chiefs, this isn't the same Chiefs offense as it has been in the past.
No.
I'm worried come playoff time. And I first couple of weeks, I kept saying, no, it's the Chiefs. They'll figure it out. We got that right about their defense figuring out. I mean, they've made big strides. It is against Teddy Two Gloves and stuff. It's not the same offense. And that's what we're saying. Herbert and Mahomes, if Herbert gets out there and they get up, I mean, that's going to be tough for the Chiefs.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, you're trying to move the ball with guys like Pringle, DeMarcus Robinson, Marcus Kemp.
Pringle couldn't catch a Pringle to save his life.
If you take the two big guys out of the game, they're screwed.
Yeah, he could just eat one.
Pringle can't catch COVID.
Yeah, he was struggling.
Yeah, unbelievable. All right, guys. So thank you. That went longer than I thought. I thought we were going to go through this recap quickly, but obviously we were having some fun. So thank you, everybody, for sticking with us. Let us jump into tonight's game, which is, I don't know, probably the most important game of the season. I would say it's the most high-profile game since the Bills and the Chiefs played. in week 3 or week 4, whenever that was, because this will determine who's the number 1 seed in the AFC. It's a team that we expected to be good, the Buffalo Bills, against a team that we weren't necessarily sure about, the New England Patriots, but the Patriots have done everything right. It's got to be feel good to be a New England fan tonight. And now they head up there tonight. And I'll tell you what, this has been pretty even too. Just talking to people, I've seen people on both sides of this game, sharp people on both sides of this game, which means it's a great matchup. I personally lean the Patriots here. What are your thoughts, Title?
It's a really, really good football game. And I know it's only a total 41. And it might not be the 60-point outbreak offense like we want to see. It's going to be football weather for sure, December weather in Buffalo. I'm very excited for it. If you guys have watched or followed me on DFS or watch the shows, I'm the biggest Josh Allen guy in the world. At the end of the day, -2.5. I get Josh Allen at home. I know they've kind of been going opposite directions. The Patriots, every single week, they've impressed. I'm just going to go to the team I think is better all around. Josh Allen, the way better quarterback in this, the way better weapons on offense. I'm going to trust him at the end of the day. So 2.5. It's not my most confident pick. I'm probably not going to bet it like I did last week with Washington, but backing Josh Allen, the better quarterback at 2.5 seems pretty good to me. So that's where I'm going with it, but it's going to be a hell of a football game.
I like the Patriots. Tyler likes the Bills. Tyler, where are you coming in?
I know where Tyler's going. We got to know.
I mean,
Patriots.
Looking at this game, I can tell you right now, we're not getting an entertaining game. Don't look for high points here.
If you like football, it'll be entertaining.
Yeah. If you like ground football, like 1955 football before they invented the forward pass, this is gonna be your game tonight.
I don't know about that.
Tyler,
so you're under 41.
Tyler's got to take shots
under 40. Have you guys looked at the weather for tonight?
Yeah,
people are talking about it in the chat right now. Who had it in the chat?
Title, you lived in Wisconsin, so you know how these weather changes are. Spread really doesn't know them. It was 55 degrees yesterday. It's going to be 30 degrees by the time this game kicks off. You know how shitty them days are when that cold front comes in. There's going to be south wind gusts around 14 miles per hour, and the gusts get as high as 34 miles an hour.
What's Josh Allen's rushing prop?
32 yards.
Over.
Easy. His interception prop? Over. Both their interception props. Because they're just going to air it out, and the ball is just going to fly to the right.
It's going to be a fun one.
Wouldn't you say that weather favors the Patriots?
I'd say yes. I'd say it favors the Patriots because you look at Buffalo's schedule. I got it pulled up here just from stats from every game.
Tyler's pulling it up. I think that's baked into the line. I will say though, personally.
Yeah, it's
baked into the line would be in great weather. 4.5,
4, something like that. Personally.
Oh. All right.
Go ahead, Tyler.
But yeah, you look at their rushing log from their defense. They played Pittsburgh week 1. They gave up 75 yards. Pittsburgh's offensive line is dog shit. Najee had to fight for every one of those yards. Then they played Miami with Myles Gaskins. We know how that run game is. It's bad. Washington goes for 78 yards. It's a bit better. Houston goes for 48. They played a Chiefs team who they knew they were going to get into a shootout with. They gave up 120 yards rushing to them. And then they turn around. Tennessee goes for $146. You look at the rest of them. Miami, Jacksonville, the Jets, and the Saints. Nobody crosses 80 yards. Then comes in the Colts with a great offensive line, a good running back, 264 rushing yards. Now you're giving me the best offensive line in football with 2 solid running backs. Give me New England in the under.
You like the under here. So I like New England in the over, and my idea is just 41's too low. And we talked about those. Interceptions on both. It's got a good chance for short fields there. Right?
It does, but if you're not punching these in as touchdowns, good luck kicking field goals when that wind starts gusting.
Yeah, I just think the Patriots will be able to score in the red zone. And then, even if the Bills can't run the ball with running backs, Josh Allen's going to be great in the red zone as well. So we'll see how that goes.
I also think the Bills defense takes a step back with no Tre'Davious White because that was a lockdown corner on one side that you could just not have to worry about. Mm-hmm. Now you're mixing and matching corners in on the other sides. So it's going to be interesting.
At the same time, do the Patriots have the weapons to even make that matter? Like what? Nelson Aguilar is going to get loose now?
This game, I don't think
it's a receiver you got to respect though, Spread. And Mac Jones will put the ball on him.
Yeah.
Like if he gets loose, I mean, Mac Jones is going to throw it to him. It might go 15 yards to the right because of the wind, but he's going to throw it at him.
what's the like the wind on the field? I don't know because I like the wind in general and like what it feels like on the field because of the stadium and stuff. Do you have that information? Someone was asking in chat, and I think that's a good question.
I can see if I can get that pulled up.
Yeah.
So title, I like the over. Tyler likes the under. Well, where would you go on the total?
I'm leaning over too because I'm on the Bills side. I don't think the Bills are going to win a 13-6 game necessarily. I think Josh Allen still finds a way to put up points. So I lean over a little bit. 41, I'm with you. I think it's just a little low, but it's not going to be a 60-point flourish. I mean, it's going to be I can see like a 46, 47 though, but I lean over.
Man, I can't wait for this game tonight. This is the best Monday Night Football game of the year. So, Tyler, I see you looking that stuff up, and why don't you look over the props as well? You gave out some juicy ones already. But, Tyler, why don't you and I go through this lineup real quick? Because, hey, I've been Mr. Min Cash, but I want to take that step and get back into 4 digits. I think you're the man to help me get there. How do we build this lineup tonight?
Well, I already got my 3 cores. I'll throw them out right away. Josh Allen in the captain. I'm going to hit the over on his rushing props. I think he gets a rushing touchdown. He's just the highest raw points for sure. I play him every single week. I'm playing him this week. And after that, the next 2 is going to be Devin Singletary at 4.6K. Way too cheap. 4.6 is way too cheap for the starting running back on Buffalo. And then I'm going to go Ramondre Stevenson at 5.6K on the other side for the Patriots. I mean, the weather ain't great. The Patriots are going to run the football. Stevenson's a beast. Singletary's just too cheap for his role. And then you get the Josh Allen at captain who has the rushing upside too. So those are the 3 cores that I'm going to give out. Breaking down some of the other stuff, it's good. Stephon Diggs and Mac Jones. Those 2, I think you're going to have to kind of make a decision on it because the full punts aren't too good in this game. I think the mid-tier build definitely makes some sense. First, I think both defenses are in play as well. 3,800 for the Bills, 4,000 for the Patriots. I do prefer them over the kickers just with how the weather's going and being talked about. They're a little cheaper than Tyler Bass too. Diggs and Mac Jones, you got to make a decision there. I slightly lean Diggs for the PPR. I think they still get them involved. You got to get Diggs involved even with the weather. PPR, get the short passing game. He's explosive. So I do like those. My favorite receiver on the Patriots side with the price included would be Nelson Aguilar. He's only sitting at 3K, which can open up so much for you. If you're going to play Josh Allen at captain, you need some cheap ones. Aguilar 3K is way too cheap. The number 1 receiver, Jacoby Myers at 7.2. I think that's a solid price tag too, but I mean, if you're going to give me a 4,200 price difference, give me Aguilar all day. I don't mind. So Damian Harris, I just can't pay 9,800 for Damian Harris. That's why Stevenson makes all the sense. I'm going to fade Harris for sure there. Dawson Knox, 5.4. Beasley, 7.8, I think would be the secondary weapons, but I don't really want to pay 7.8 for Cole Beasley in this game. Give me a 5.4 Dawson Knox. We keep seeing tight ends go off. And then I think an interesting play would be Matt Breida at 6,600. I think he goes relatively low owned. I think more people do go Singletary, which I do like more. But if you're playing in the 150 max, Matt Breida, I mean, he showed what he could do last week. He has upside. He's gonna get some carries. He's probably gonna catch some passes. If he gets in the box once, that's gonna pay off his price tag. So I think Breida is interesting in tournaments. But Josh Allen in the captain spot, Ramondre Stevenson, Devin Singletary are my 3 core. Nelson Aguilar, too cheap, 3,200. You can go Dawson Knox, 5,400. And then the defenses, I think, make some sense too. The last guy, Jonnu Smith, 2,400 on the Patriots. He'd be my preferred tight end because he's 2,400. Hunter Henry is 5,200. That's just too much of a salary gap for me when I know I'm going to play Josh Allen captain. So salary, I'm going to need to save a little bit. So that's kind of how I'm looking at the game.
All right, help me out real quick. So what if I want to build a Patriots game? Patriots game stripped, right? And that would be something that we've done on the show a lot. The 4-2, right? 4 Patriots, 2 Bills. How would you approach that? Now, full disclosure, Title's helping me out. He already gave out his core.
Yeah. So you think it's over 41? I would go Mac Jones. I would definitely have Mac Jones in there. He's 10,000 in the flex. the thing is, like, so do you want the Ramondre Stevenson captain? Do you think they get it done by just pounding the rock? They're going to be up all game. He falls in the end zone once and twice and you get it that way? Or do you think Mac Jones is going to throw 2+ touchdowns and then you want to go the Mac Jones captain? Because the Mac Jones captain's safer for the floor.
But am I going to be that much different?
No, yeah. Mac Jones, Josh Allen's going to be the captain today in this whole game. His raw points upside is definitely there. So any Patriots captain, you'll be different enough. So you pick either a Mac Jones or Ramondre Stevenson. I would go Aguilar, who's $3K. He's just mispriced for sure. And then I would add one more. If you're going Mac Jones captain, I'm still going to play 2 pass catchers. If you're going to go 4-2, you either go Jacoby Myers at 7-2. You can do Hunter Henry 5-2. I'm still on the Jonnu Smith, who's 2-4 instead of 5-2 train. So I would go Nelson Aguilar, Mac Jones, Ramondre Stevenson, and then you pick one of Jonnu Smith or Jacoby Myers. How I do a 4-2 build. I still would personally get Josh Allen in there though. He's going to be a staple in my lineups just because the raw points matter in a game like this.
And guys, there you have it. So now we've built you a winning lineup with both game scripts there. So depending on which side you like, Title has led you to a good way to start that build and go ahead and enjoy it depending on which way you believe this game goes tonight. Tyler, while we did that, you had a chance to look over the props. You mentioned a couple interception props earlier. Why don't you go ahead and give out the winning props for the people?
Yeah, I mean, looking at this game, we're going to go a couple different directions with it because I think it's just going to be straight run game. You're not going to be able to do much through the air with this wind. The rushing attempts, Damian Harris is 11.5, Josh Allen 7.5, Singletary's 9.5, Stevenson 9.5. I think those are all way too low.
Okay.
The rushing yards, Josh Allen 35.5, probably a bit too low. Stevenson 41.5, Damian Harris 48.5. I think both New England running backs go over today. The touchdown scorer props I was looking at, I mean, you can get Damian Harris 2-1. That's the starting running back. He's going to get the goal line carries. Stevenson's plus 210. So you could just take them both. As long as they punch a touchdown in, it's going to be one of those two guys if it's a running play. And then looking at the quarterback props, of course, both the interceptions. And then looking at their passing attempts, Mac Jones is 29.5. I'd go under there. He's only went over that number once in his last 3 games. And now you're going to play in a windstorm. Yeah, give me the under there.
I love these props, Tyler. You got to fill up the sheet with your favorite ones and drop the rest in the Discord. I think you got a real great feel for this game. And Nate's been mentioning how great you've been on props so far this year. So, just like Bill Belichick, once you have that winning pedigree, we believe in you. So, hey, guys, what a fun show. I didn't think we were going to go this long. But, boy, we had a lot to talk about, and it got pretty animated at points. So I'm sure that everyone enjoyed watching. I definitely know I enjoyed hosting the show. Remember, the show is brought to you by Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. If you're not already a member, head on over to runpuresports.com. Use the promo code GETBETS. You'll get access to Title's cores and the rest of the team. You'll get access to all those props that I've just talked about that Tyler will be posting. And, of course, the plays from the Sports Keg, JJ, myself, Joy Work, and Score with D. Title, do you want to let everyone know the rest of the content you'll be producing for Run Pure Sports this week?
We had the NBA Hardwood Show, 4:45 Eastern today. I believe it's a 10-game NBA slate. So
it's huge, yeah.
Mondays and Wednesdays when I'm usually on are usually big. I like the big slates personally. So 4:45 Eastern, Hoop Man going myself will be breaking that down. Should be a lot of fun. We have the Showdown content. We'll have that up at Run Pure Sports. Tambo coming off a huge King of the Beach win. He took second, 150K, I believe it was. So shout out to Tambo. Today's going to be a lot of fun. I always say Sundays are obviously my favorite days. Saturdays, Sundays, because almost had a big one in the MMA streets. Needed Font to take home 30,000, but Aldo beat his ass, unfortunately. But big card coming up this Saturday too. Sundays are always fun, but Mondays are my third favorite day.
Give the people a teaser. Who you on in the main event? Because this one's split right down the middle between a lot of Run Pure guys.
Charles Oliveira made me so much money.
That's what I wanted to hear.
No,
you're going to switch the sides, aren't you?
Yep, I am. Charles Oliveira made me so much money, and I love the man. But at the end of the day, Dustin Poirier, I trust his chin more. I trust his heart a little more. He's been in those what him and Hooker did. I think the later the rounds go, I just trust him not to quit, I guess. I know Charles Oliveira is no quitter, but I trust DP to take
if he can put the pressure on him and just beat the hell out of him, he's going to end up just cornering him and pounding him out. Do not end up on the ground with this man.
No, yeah.
Because then your heart and your chin don't affect anything when he's ripping your neck off or your arm off.
Skill-wise, I'm with you. I think Charles Oliveira and his skill set and everything all around, I'm more worried about Charles Oliveira. But I think as Justin Gaethje said, there's no dog in that man. I don't think necessarily there's no dog in Charles Oliveira, but I just trust DP more. I'm going to put
Gaethje fight Oliveira. Gaethje's going to try and kill him. He's just going to try and walk him down.
Oh yeah, I would be on Gaethje there too. But yeah, so we'll have a show Saturday too. That should be a lot of fun. And that's my first look. Who knows? Maybe come playbook. It is Charles Oliveira with RPS, but leaning Dustin Poirier now. Hardwood show 4:45 Eastern. Monday's always huge prize pools in the DFS streets though, NBA and NFL. So check it out. Check out the bet side. We always talk about how they correlate. Should be a fun night.
Yeah, and Title, I would say, before that show. There's a really good movie. It's called Master and Commander, right? Maybe check that out because you are going to be navigating some choppy waters with this injury report. I mean, I just pulled it up right now. I think my computer RAM just ran out trying to load the webpage. So
I don't like hearing that.
I'll be looking forward to see where you guys end up. But you guys always do a great job of finding the value. And boy, there's going to be a ton of value tonight. It almost just feels like it's going to be a game of pick the right spend up. But hey, that's what we do over here at Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. We navigate these choppy waters, finding the best bets, the best props, and of course, the best DFS lineup built. Guys, we had a lot of fun today, and we couldn't have done it without you. I mean, Title and Tyler and I could have hung out on a stream and talked, but I definitely think the chat made it so much more today. You guys were, dropping in great ideas, great questions, and of course, great comments and making us laugh and also helping us learn a bit. So thank you to everybody in the chat for making the show better. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. We will be back in about an hour to navigate, so I get a little time, and we'll be doing the bets. And then right when we end, that's when Title's show. So Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets have you covered up until kickoff, pretty much, because it's going to go my NBA show, Hardwood Live, then the final countdown, then Jay's going to go live. I mean, you can watch Run Pure until midnight on the East Coast right now. So, I don't know what more we can do for you guys. And this is all for free on these YouTube channels. All we ask is that you like the video, subscribe to the channel, share with your friends, and run